So this coming Sunday is the NXT WarGames. I guess you could call it a pay-per-view because they're not called TakeOver anymore. That's the new thing. TakeOver's out. I don't know.
I'm excited. I reckon I'll actually be able to watch it as well this weekend.
Oh yeah.
Even though
So,
because of time difference, because obviously at the minute I don't actually have a job.
uh-oh.
So at the minute I get to stay up and watch late program.
So as far as the show does go, if it takes the same kind of structure of a normal takeover, I would assume 2.5, 3 hours. Right now, there's been 5 matches announced for the show, 1 title match, 2 title matches. No, hold on. This has not been updated. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think there's 6 matches. The list I have may be incorrect. Let me pull up a different list. Let's see. NXT WarGames. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope, I'm just thinking wrong. I guess it's 5 matches. Yeah. So there's 2 title matches, a hair versus hair match, and the 2 War Games matches. So the hair versus hair match. We have Cameron Grimes against Duke Hudson. The whole thing here is when Cameron Grimes was a better poker player than the poker player Duke Hudson, he cut the ponytail off and whatnot. So now hair versus hair. Who do you got? Cameron Grimes getting shaved or Duke Hudson?
I reckon Cameron Grimes.
That's what I would think too. I think he would be the
Yeah.
I think he would be the one to say, "Yeah, screw it, I'll shave my head. Why not?" Instead of them just bringing in Duke Hudson and changing his look already. Like I just think Cameron Grimes would be the one.
It's
of
probably
the two.
too soon.
Yeah,
isn't it?
and I think Cameron Grimes would be the one of the two to be like, you know what? Screw it. I'm a comedy wrestler anyways. For the most part, I'll do it and I'll make it a entertaining deal for the next however long it takes to grow the hair back. And that's the question: does he grow it back along or try something different once it starts growing out?
Are they going to completely change everything? Oh.
Yeah. Do we get a whole new Cameron Grimes, or is it just, hey, in 6 months when his hair's back out, he's the same old, same old?
Oh, I reckon they will do it and completely just shape him into something different.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I reckon so.
We got 2 title matches. The first one was set up last night. It will be Imperium, Fabian Eichner and Marcel Barthel, defending the NXT Tag Team Championships against Kyle O'Reilly and Von Wagner, who defeated Legado del Fantasma last night to earn this title shot. And with the news of Kyle O'Reilly's contract coming up at any moment, like I don't know the exact date, but I know it's early December, I say they keep the titles on Imperium. I don't know if maybe they could go, hey, Kyle, we'll give you these tag titles to entice you to stay. I don't see them doing that unless he's signed some sort of a deal.
I hope the Imperium keep them, actually. I've always, I love the Imperium. I think they're great. Absolutely brilliant.
Oh, yeah, I like Imperium, too. I think they're a great tag team. And there's that rumor that they're trying to get Walter to come to the U.S. to do even more stuff. So if they're champions...
Have you seen the shape he's in at the minute as well?
Yes.
He's looking amazing.
So if they're the champions, they bring in Walter.
Yeah.
They can maybe... I don't know, have Walter beat Ciampa for the NXT title, and then they're all draped in gold. That would be really fun to see. Because the question is, who's going to take the title from Ciampa? I think it's too soon for Braun Breaker. And to be honest, there's nobody else.
Definitely.
There's nobody else on that roster that I think is ready to challenge for the title. And why not it be Walter if he's willing to do more? That's the thing. If he's willing to do more in the United States. Because there's always been the whole thing in the past of, I'll come here and there and do shots, but I'm not going to be there long term.
So, no, I think he's got to keep it.
Because that was always the good thing about when NXT filmed 3-4 weeks in a row. They can bring Walter in and film a whole month of content with him, and then he can go back home. So we'll see. I mean, it's just rumors right now that they're trying to entice them to come here more. But I think it would be really cool if, kind of like Undisputed Era was, where they had all the gold. Now Imperium can be that big monster group with all the gold. But I do think Imperium retains the tag titles over Kyle O'Reilly and Von Wagner.
I really hope they do.
Also, speaking of Von Wagner, kind of interesting that they had him on SmackDown that one week with Adam Pearce, and then boom, nothing ever since. They killed it.
See, I've never really been invested in him, I'll be honest.
Right. So going forward, We also have, I guess you could call it the Cruiserweight title match, even though Joe Gacy's not a Cruiserweight, and it's weird. It's weird what they're doing here. It's Roderick Strong defending the NXT Cruiserweight Championship against Joe Gacy. Joe Gacy said last night on NXT that if he wins this title, he's going to now call it the NXT Inclusive Championship, because it's not going to be a title that has weight limits or gender limits or any kind of limits on it. Everybody can go for this belt, but I don't see them taking the title off Roderick Strong. I do really like Joe Gacy as a wrestler. I don't like the gimmick they're doing with him. I've always liked him, like from his days in Evolve and stuff. But I don't see them changing up the Cruiserweight title and taking it off Roderick Strong right now.
I think, see, they're really trying to push Joe at the minute,
right?
Aren't they? So I'm not sure. I think he could have it. I think Joe could have it.
There is an argument for it, because then the Cruiserweight title, that's the old NXT. We don't want to be associated with the old NXT anymore.
So, I reckon. I could see Joe winning. I could see Joe winning it, just because I think the way they've kind of been shaping at the minute, there's a lot of focus on him.
Right.
So I reckon they could give it to him. Just mixing it up a little bit.
Right, and like I said, I think get a little away from the old NXT. They're already kind of changing 205 Live, where anybody can wrestle on 205 Live, men, women, or anybody above that weight limit. So maybe they're going to look to change up that structure there. Going forward, we have the two War Games matches. We have the Women's War Games match, which is technically the heels versus the baby faces. On the heel side, it's Mandy Rose, the NXT Women's Champion, the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, Gigi Dolan, JC Jane, and Dakota Kai. And then on the babyface side, it's Io Shirai, Raquel Gonzalez, Cora Jade, and Kaylee Ray, with, I think it's the heels? No, the baby faces have the advantage. The baby faces have the man advantage going into the match after Kaylee Ray won last night, and they made Dakota Kai look like a dummy. She had the match won and then thought, hold on, Kaylee Ray might be knocked out, but I'm going to jump on her one last time off of the ladder, even though I'm about to grab the briefcase. And then Kaylee Ray won because Dakota Kai gave up the win. Stupid.
I see. This is quite tough for me.
Yes, me too.
I could see Mandy Rose's team winning.
Okay.
Just because they've got all the titles. They've got the whole thing at the minute, and there's also, same with them, there's a lot of focus on them at the minute. But Io Shirai is one of my favourites ever. And I'm trying not to be biased. But yeah, I can just see whole Toxic Attraction entourage winning.
So I think I'm going to go the same way as well. The heels, Toxic Attraction, and Dakota Kai winning. I mean, last year what they did was they had Raquel Gonzalez win it, pinning the champion, which then eventually did lead to her getting a title shot. But I think they're pushing Mandy and Gigi and JC and that Toxic Attraction so big right now, and people are already kind of like, they're whatever. I think if you have, and maybe I'm just stretching a little bit here, you have one of them, whether that's Mandy or the other two, pick up the actual pinfall. Maybe that's them saying, hey, no, look what these women just did in War Games. They are legitimate. There is a reason for them to have all the gold.
Yeah, it was quite not sudden, but I didn't really like Mandy Rose as much going into Raw and SmackDown, but now she's back, I like her a lot more, and I'm glad they're doing a lot more with her. And it's kind of the same thing as like the Fire and Desire kind of thing at the moment, where they have put over 2 other people. So I'm kind of like, but yeah, I'm not sure. I think they will win.
Yeah, I think I would say, like I said, the heels just kind of solidify them as, hey, no, they're not just pretty faces we put the titles on. We're going to try to make them seem legit. Going forward, we've got the men's War Games match, which this isn't babyface versus heel, which some people keep trying to say online, oh, it's babyface. It's not babyfaces and heels. It's what they are calling, they said it last night, it is Team Black and Gold, Tommaso Ciampa, the NXT champion, Johnny Gargano, LA Knight, and Pete Dunne, against Team 2.0, the North American champion Carmelo Hayes, Braun Breaker, Grayson Waller, and Tony D'Angelo. Now, I'm going to say it right now. Grayson Waller and Tony D'Angelo, they're very green. I'm not really fans of their gimmicks. We haven't seen too much of them each in the ring. I just hope that these guys, not saying that they're going to hurt somebody or hurt themselves. I just hope that they keep whatever they do somewhat limited and they don't try to do some of these wacky war game spots with their inexperience. But the interesting thing here is who wins, because the big dynamic going into this is not just the new versus the old, but it's Ciampa's the NXT champion and Carmelo Hayes is the North American champion, keeps trying to say, no, even though I'm the North American champion, I'm higher up on the food chain than Ciampa.
See, I don't know, because I think it would be a bit, I don't know if it would be a bit odd if the newer guys did win.
Right.
Because you've got guys, you know, like Ciampa and like Johnny, that even Pete as well, that have been big part, massive part. So, but I have seen so much about Braun as well. Is it Braun?
Braun Breaker?
Braun Breaker. I've seen a lot about him.
Yeah.
A lot. He's also the same as kind of Joe, getting a lot of spotlight on him in a minute.
Right. So, as far as my prediction goes, I mean, I would like to see the team Black and Gold win this, but for some reason, there's just something in my head, and kind of like what I said with the women, we got to legitimize these new guys. We got to make these new guys look good. We got to, and so the story going into this is with Johnny Gargano. His contract was supposed to be up on Friday. He signed a 1-week extension because he wanted to work the War Games match. And after December 10th, we don't know if Johnny Gargano's still going to be around with WWE or not. So maybe with that uncertainty, Braun Breaker pins Johnny Gargano.
Maybe.
Because then you can do the whole, Johnny's leaving or maybe leaving, so he can take the pin. It's not going to hurt anybody else in this match. But then if Johnny Gargano stays, he's a big enough name and a good enough wrestler and star that it's not going to hurt him that he's the one that took the pin. If he does decide, hey, I'm staying in NXT or with WWE. So I think that would be a smart move, especially if you want the new guys to win. Pin Johnny Gargano. It wouldn't hurt him if he stays, and if he's leaving, oh well.
Do you know who I'm not really sure on Tony D'Angelo at the minute. My opinion on him, just, I don't know, something about it. I feel like it's too forced.
Yes, that's exactly what I was about to say. Yep.
His gimmick is very forced.
They're trying too hard.
Yeah, I feel like it's been kind of shoved down my throat, if I'm honest.
And I'm
just not really interested.
Yeah, I think I think you see all this stuff on Twitter every week. He's on TV. Oh my God, we love Tony D'Angelo. I think, to be honest, the love for Tony D'Angelo online is actually making fun of the gimmick and saying, oh, we love him, push him more, when it's really, they don't like him, but they're making fun of how, like you said, forced they are making him.
Yeah, for sure. And it's kind of like, I saw something a couple of weeks ago and I actually cringed a bit. I cringed and I thought, oh, come on. Especially kind of with the other guys that he's with on that team. Their gimmicks are quite, like, not down to earth, but they're natural. That makes sense.
Yeah, except
and that is just a little bit too much for me at the minute.
Right, and I get that, except for Grayson Waller. They really went hard last night with Grayson Waller, and he's like, yeah, we're going to beat you guys, and then put it all over social media, because that's what we do. We put our wins on social media. Like, they're trying to push him too hard as, like, this young TikTok guy.
Oh, no, stop.
Yeah, that was his whole thing. He, like, cut a promo where all he said last night was, yeah, when we win, I'll put it all over my social media, because that's what we do. We post about it.
Put it on Instagram. No.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, Lord. But I mean,
No,
I think, as far as these new guys do go, I think Braun Breaker has a long way to go to still continue to learn, but he's got something. But as I said last night in my review, I really do like Carmelo Hayes. I think he is very talented.
I do.
And
I do.
he's somebody AEW missed out on because he did some AEW dark stuff for them early on, and they never signed him. They let him go, and WWE picked him up.
I like him, and he's he's Trick, isn't he? Trick
Williams.
Yeah, them two together, beautiful. I could honestly tag team worthy right there.
For me, they've done the right thing with Trick Williams. I find him super annoying, but I think we're supposed to, as Carmelo Hayes' hype guy, I think we're supposed to find him annoying. Yes. I don't find him. I find him annoying in the that's what he's supposed to be way, not the Grayson Waller is too forced annoying that I don't like.
Yeah, it's not forced. That's what I mean. Like, it's a natural kind of gimmick.
He's supposed to be annoying. And I think those two, like you said, work really well together.
Yeah, they do. They really do.
And the other thing with those two, Carmelo Hayes, he's still kind of a younger guy, but he is really good. And we've seen like bits and pieces of Trick Williams wrestling. I think he can learn a lot from Carmelo Hayes and them two being put together.
Yeah, I think as long as they're not everything sprung on them too quickly,
right.
I think you could train and it could work really well.
But that is the card for this weekend's NXT. I almost said takeover. NXT WarGames. It's not a takeover. I mean, it's ingrained in my mind since, 2014 maybe. It was the first takeover. So just whenever you think of like a not weekly show for NXT, your mind just wants to say takeover, but it's not a takeover, which is unfortunate. But again, they're going a new route with all this NXT 2.0 stuff. I'm glad that it's not like War Games 2.0 or something. It's still plain War Games.
They'll come out with it. They will. It gets to the weekend, they'll be like, we're going to rename it, and we're going to put a different logo, and it's going to be War Games 2.0.
Oh, Lord. So that is NXT War Games. I will be reviewing that show live after it goes off the air on Sunday night. I think it should be, looking at the card, pretty entertaining, to be honest. Like, I'm not super entertained by the weekly show because they try to have, I think they have too many segments that's not just wrestling on the weekly show, but this is just going to be hopefully wrestle. And when you look at the card,
it's kind of going to be something new, isn't it? So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with it, if I'm honest.
Exactly. So I think it could be, I don't know if it's going to live up to like the old takeover shows where they're all super good, but I think this could be a pretty good show. We got a lot of good matches here. The one that I'm concerned, we haven't seen a lot of wrestling from Duke Hudson. So that's the one where I'm kind of like, hopefully Cameron Grimes can carry him well, because we've seen like
that's probably
short
the
matches.
One that I'm not as interested about. Yeah, I'm going to be completely honest.
And with Duke Hudson, we've really just seen quick short matches in the few matches we've seen of him in WWE. So I don't know. And a lot of people are like, Roderick Strong, Joe Gacy. If you've seen Joe Gacy's work, like before he was in WWE, like when he and Eddie Kingston were the Evolved Tag Team Champions, Joe Gacy's really, really good. Last night, Joe Gacy did the Ricochet handspring into the ropes into a clothesline deal and did it flawlessly.
Beautiful.
So I think this could be a really good show that maybe will surprise us coming up on Sunday.